Welcome to Big Blend Radio with your hosts, Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazine.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio. So many of you know Steve and Karen Wilson. We call them Mr. and Mrs. Wild of Asheville, North Carolina. They run and own the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. And they travel the country, they travel the world watching wildlife like we do. And also they're huge music fans like us. So they're always, in fact, we take care of their dogs sometimes. We've insat for them. I don't know why they trusted us, but we did it. And we've done that, but while they're off going and doing all these rock concerts and heavy metal shows, and suddenly Karen goes, Lisa, Riki Rachtman's coming here with his tour, and it's One Foot in the Gutter. And I remember one New Year's Eve in my life, a New Year's Eve party, and at the end of the night, our heads, we had this huge party, and all of us that were still standing but not, had our heads in the gutter.
Right.
We were all lying in a row with our heads in the gutter going, your mind's in the gutter. We thought that was very funny, but we always thought somebody had to do something about, being in the gutter. So I love your tour, Riki. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. When I had a saying that even before I was on MTV that I used to say, 1 foot in the gutter, 1 fist in the gold. And what that means is, what it sounds like is like, always going for the gold and always trying to be successful and always trying to get the very, very best. But no matter what you do, remember where you came from. And that's why I've been calling this 1 foot in the gutter, because this show is kind of about where I and most of us from the rock and roll scene came from and where we are now and stuff like that. And there's a lot of parts in my show that are in the gutter.
But you've got to see, I kind of feel this is the great thing about Headbangers Ball, but you also have the Cathouse, and that's got to, I almost feel like that's going to have more of the stories, because like stuff went down in there in a way, you know what I mean? Because
you are absolutely right. I mean, the whole thing is I wouldn't have been on Headbangers Ball if it wasn't for my club, the Cathouse. And Headbangers Ball, I can talk about the behind the scenes of what it was like with Nirvana or Alice in Chains. But as far as Cathouse, that's where the crazy things happen, whether it's Bowie or Guns N' Roses or Motley Crue or anybody. I mean, that's where all the crazy stuff happened. And because I had a no camera policy, none of that stuff ever really resurfaced. But now I'm telling a lot of those stories and more. And it's fun.
Well, Cathouse, when I was reading about it, it sounds like it was almost like the rock version of Studio 54. It was like,
that's what everybody says.
Yeah.
Cathouse was like, Studio 54 was more,
disco and
drugs and disco and sex, and we were more sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Right.
That's what the Cathouse was. The Cathouse was, but the Cathouse, at Studio 54, everybody wanted to be seen. And the Cathouse, you did all these things because you didn't want to get caught and you didn't want to do anything. So, it would be, Robert Plant at the bar and who else? But it wasn't just, it was just, for us, the reason that I opened the club was it was our safe place, because this was in 1986. We were all kind of the misfits in Hollywood, and we didn't get into the cool clubs. So I created my own club that we all got to hang out.
But the Cathouse is a badass name too. That's funny.
Yeah, that was good. It was a fun name because, I mean, a Cathouse is the real term of what a Cathouse is a house of ill repute. But my roommate that I opened the club with was also in a band called Bastard Pussycat. So I'm like, what, let's call this place the Cathouse, because Cathouse means this and that. And it became pretty much a Cathouse. And
hey, but I kind of feel like now, I don't know, more of that life, but I feel like we don't have the rock and roll scene like we used to. I feel like we're everybody's, and I'm not knocking it because I don't want people to, die of addiction, and stuff. But we're drinking smoothies, and I don't know, it just feels kind of clean now. And I want the drama. I want the debauchery. I feel
You're
like
right.
rock is wild. Like, that's why I talk about Steve and Karen, Mr. and Mrs. Wild, because it's either wildlife or wildlife on the stage.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Well, it's all primal and it's all animals. And
Yeah.
it's all the same thing. And, now we live in a culture where, you
Can't
have
say anything.
can't. I mean, let me tell you something. The cat house would have been. There's no way. Everything we did was wrong, and everything we did was decadent. But it was all inclusive, and I said something the other day, which was so true. It's like at the cat house, we had straight, gay, black, white, transgender. We had everything at the cat house.
Mhm.
And never did we publicize that. It's like, so what? It's like, it's like, I didn't know that I would have to say like, oh, we allow everybody. We just did because we didn't care, because everybody was treated the same, no matter what you were, and everybody was rock stars and all the women. And when I say this is where some people get a little misunderstanding. When I say all the women were like strippers. Now, when I say that, I didn't mean that literally, even though a lot of the women at the cat house were strippers. But what it was women that were in respectable businesses, women that were mothers, women that were school teachers, women that were attorneys, lawyers, everything, got to go to the cat house and play and dress up. Just like if you wanted to go to a cowboy bar and dress up as a cowboy, that doesn't mean that you're out there being a cowboy in the day.
Right.
At the cat house, we all dressed up like rock stars and
did what you want. Well, we had that, like when I was growing up in South Africa in high school, like we had underground clubs because you couldn't get away with the way we all were. It's like you and everybody had their weird dress up things of what we wanted to do. The goth thing was happening. Right. Punk rock was still really big, and here was heavy metal. Like everyone's room, somebody had Iron Maiden on their walls, and it was like, but when you went to normal bars, it was kind of like, it wasn't that we wanted, and it had to be dark and nobody knew about it. It was just all secretive. And that was that. Nobody knew. Your parents, well, I don't know. I did get in trouble.
Well, that's kind of what my show does. I mean, if it's not just me going up there telling stories, part of it's like a play. Like there's a part of the set that's decorated like my room when I was a kid, discussing certain bands and talking about what was it like in the club, what was it like in Hollywood. But I also talk about what was it like going from a huge television show like Headbangers Ball to losing it all, to being flat broke and having to get a job as a car salesman. I mean, there's a lot of, I
did that. I sucked at it. Did you do good as a car salesman?
No,
I sucked.
No, I was not good. But I talk about all the things, it's people don't ever talk about what's it like when you have a little bit of fame and then you have no fame and you're just trying to make it, people going up to me in a car lot when I'm wearing a tie and they're saying, aren't you Riki Rachtman from Headbangers Ball? And I'm like, yeah, let me show you this Jetta. It's like, that's hard to take.
8 cylinders, a Jetta, not a Jetta. Come on, you can't do Jettas. You have to do something.
That's what I sold. I sold Volkswagens. So
I sold Toyotas. I lasted for a month and they kicked me out because I was playing air guitar and I was bored. It's boring, but and I don't know anything about cars, but you seem to be very entrepreneurial. Is that something like where did music come first, then the entrepreneurial, or were they all
Well, music has been in my life my entire life. I mean, even as a little kid, I've always loved rock and roll, and I found ways to work, whether it was opening up the cat house, whether, I have an apparel company called Cathouse-Hollywood that sells
coffee.
You got coffee? A coffee company called Cathouse Coffee that doesn't make me any money, but I sure have great coffee all the time. And so I've always been hungry and always worked, and I believe that I always will, and now these shows are kind of bringing it all full circle and talking about all that stuff and bringing people back to a decadent, dangerous time.
Do you think things will change? I mean, what do you see about today? And I like that you're doing a show, because most people are writing a book, and that's good too. And I hope you do at some point write the book. But I think the show brings it back. It's more interpersonal, and like my age group are going to really appreciate it. But what are you feeling about right now? Because we feel like so many legends are leaving us, and in the music world, like Jeff Beck and stuff like that. It's just,
Oh yeah.
it's shitty, man. It's like, come
I
on.
mean, this is what I mean, let's just face it. Some of us, and the one thing I want to say is, like, I was surprised how much of my audience was younger. Like, there's a lot of people that really are interested in that scene, and it's more than just reading a magazine but everything is changing. I don't see a music scene building up, and if it does, it's going to build up underground as a form of rebellion.
Yeah.
But people don't want to go out. You know, if they want to find out something, they just look at their phone. They don't go to clubs. They don't go to shows. They don't go out. I mean, we used to go out a couple nights a week, and we weren't really sure what band was playing at the Whiskey, but we were going to go anyway
And check it out.
And people just don't do that anymore. And it's
Yeah.
and everybody wants something instantly. You know, they want it. We're in a TikTok generation where, okay, entertain me. If you're not having entertained me in 4 seconds, I swipe and I move to something else.
How is it now? Like, when you think about when you're doing Headbangers Ball, I mean, we didn't have Google and stuff like that at that point. I mean, it was on its way. It was about to hit,
Right.
But it's a little bit different, right? When you are hosting a podcast now, it's different.
I was the only source for a lot of people to find heavy metal bands. You know, that's what people say, like, you know, I didn't even know about Pantera until you played them on the Headbangers Ball. I didn't know about Alice in Chains or Nirvana even. And it's Headbangers Ball was the avenue for a lot of people to find out about all these things. Because you'd go home Saturday night and you didn't have YouTube. You know, now when I say that, I sound like back in the day, and it doesn't seem like that long ago to me. But you didn't have those avenues, and I was the one that people would turn to many times. And I was just a host. I wasn't the one that picked the videos or anything like that. So I was just, you know, there as your tour guide to show you all these different bands.
But you're into it. You can't do it if you're not into it.
Oh my God, I loved it. I still do.
Yeah.
I mean, I still go to shows. I still listen to music. I still buy music. I still talk to people in bands. I mean, I
think you're right about the rebellion thing. I think it can't stay pretty for long. It can't, because that's just not the nature of the beast. And I think
it's getting worse and worse. And we live in a generation that if you go and see a band that's really good, you'll be like, oh, that band was good. But if that band was bad, you can't wait to get on social media and tell the world about how bad it is. And the thing is, if you're out there, if you're out there telling everybody how bad everything is, you're not elevating anything. Spend some time, talk about how good things are, you know, maybe get new people turned on to it.
I think we have to support the clubs. It's getting harder too for like stadium tours. I mean, all the scalping, the Ticketmaster crap, all of that. So like, just like even the shows that you're going to seem like really cool, intimate venues where you can connect and have that energy. And that's something I think we have to look at alternative venues and concerts being different. As a musician, like, it's cool to be and you're a musician, it's cool to have the big ass, you know, crowd, like, wow, right? Like,
well, I mean, one of my shows,
then it's different. Yeah,
one of my shows, and remember, I'm brand new to this. Like, I'm a new artist. I don't have an opening act. I don't have anybody else with me. And the biggest show that I have is at the Starland Ballroom, April 6th, which is a huge venue. And I didn't want to be at that venue because I love the place, but I think it's just too big. And most of the but I'm still gonna have a great time there.
Yeah.
The shows, like the shows in Asheville, Asheville's a pretty good size one, but some of the shows like in Nashville and in New York City, it's like I'm playing on Broadway in a place that's like 150 people. And to me, that's like really awesome. One, I'm actually on Broadway, which I never thought would happen. Cool. And it's like 100, 150 seats. And that's the same thing in Nashville. And Atlanta too is a smaller venue. And those are the venues I want to be in. I want to be in venues that are about 150 seats or 200. And some are 300, 400. And the one in New Jersey is 600, which, I mean, most people are going to tell you how they want to play all these big clubs. I want to play small places because that's fun to feel something that big.
Yeah, it feels good. You know, are you going to play music? You know, are you going to perform?
Not really, so to speak. A parrot's gonna fly by any second.
Oh, cool.
I have an African gray parrot that flies all around the house. And so
we used to have those a lot in where I grew up.
Oh yeah.
They're around, you know, but I was gonna say, I mean, are you gonna perform a little bit, or you know?
I'm not doing there's some part in the show that's not good, but it's interesting. but mostly it's just me telling stories. There's a lot of video, there's
Yeah.
a lot of photos in the show as well,
Mm.
but mostly it's just me telling these stories.
Cool, cool. So you're going to Australia with this, and I'm hoping that's badass. I know. Oh my God, like I think they're more like into craziness and a
Okay,
little bit freer.
when somebody told me, they said, okay, we've got 4 offers in Australia, and I was like, Australia? They're like, yeah,
Yeah,
Sydney and Adelaide and
yeah.
Brisbane and Melbourne. And I was like, you're kidding, right? They're like, no,
Yeah.
it's in June. And the tickets are selling. I'm like, oh my,
Oh, but it's huge. Now you've got to go to South Africa. I
I'll go
demand you go.
anywhere. Believe me, I will go anywhere.
Europe,
I mean,
Europe.
so
Oh my God, you got to
excited.
do a Europe tour. You have to do a Europe tour.
I love doing this so much. So any shows that come up, I mean, I would be more than happy to spend the next 2 years doing this period, and then write the book.
It would be, yeah. Do that when you can't move around, But it's like Jimmy Page is writing his story, but he said he's only releasing it when he's dead. So
well, I want to release mine while I'm still alive.
yeah.
That's why I got.
Oh, now are you allowed to tell these stories? How is that? Like if you've got like,
they're true. So
yeah.
are there some that there's going to be some people that are there some rock stars that are not going to be happy with the things I say in the show? Yes. But what I'm talking about is a true instance that happened. And I'm not saying it's secondhand. It's stories that happened because I was there. I was a part of the story. So if I say it, it's like, oh, I'm not good. I know for a fact there's going to be some people in major bands that are not going to be happy with some of the things I say, but what I say is not an opinion. What I say is a fact, an actual historical event, and they're not going to be happy, but oh well, they shouldn't have maybe done something like
okay,
that.
so what is this about Axl Rose chasing David Bowie down the street? Because oh man, have you heard of Jacob Bunton? He was with Steve Adler's group Appetite. And then Adler. We were about to interview. We had an interview, and
was he the singer?
No, he's a hell of a guitarist.
Oh,
he's got the best hair too. Like he gave me hair tips. But we ended up doing his interview. But we had a live show with him and this whole thing, and live broadcast. And Steve had to go get checked back into rehab, unfortunately. And but good that he needed to get there. But and I see that he's still out there performing. But it just seems there's so much about Guns N' Roses, like, I don't know, it's what was he doing chasing Bowie? Like that, I just think that's funny. It's like, why does a chicken cross the road? Why does Axl Rose chase Bowie?
I will just tell you, because the whole incident happened right next to me, that David Bowie was in rare form on that night in October 10th, 1989 at the Cat House. And come to my show and you'll hear the whole story the way it really happened, because I was there.
And now you didn't allow people to like film stuff, did you? Like when they came in?
I had a no camera rule, because I never when I opened the Cat House, it was just a fun place for us to hang out, to have parties, so we didn't mess up that apartment. So I didn't really anticipate it becoming as big as it did. And so I said no cameras, no photo, no none of that stuff, because I just thought this is just going to be a fun place for us to hang out, not knowing that it was going to be as crazy and successful as it was. So I said, no cameras in it, no cameras, let people do whatever they want. And that's why there's a lot of people don't have film of some of this stuff, which is good. Probably most of the stuff wouldn't happen if we were allowed to have cameras.
But okay, so now what about the tour now that you're doing? Are you going to let people withhold their cell phones? And
there is a part which is interesting, because I don't want people filming the show, because it'll ruin it. And B, some of these stories are very personal. And when I'm on stage, I like looking at people when I'm telling stories, and I don't want to be telling a story and see this. Like, I don't want to be looking at something and seeing this and seeing this all the time. It's like, I'd rather be telling stories and looking at their faces. There is a time in the show when I tell everybody to pull their cameras out and we all take pictures, and I take pictures as well. But for the most part, like, be in the moment. Let's have a good time. Let's all sit and tell some stories. And I don't need to stare at your phone. And besides, who are you going to send the pictures to? They're not at the show and you are, so screw them.
Yeah. All right. There it is. Yeah, that's right. So what about music today? Who are you listening to?
I listen to everything, which is such an easy cop out, but I listen to a lot of like the heavier bands. I'm listening, for me, a lot of the bands that are new bands have still been around for 10 years, whether
Yeah.
it's, Amon Amarth or Undo Others or stuff like that. And I still listen to a lot of the same stuff that I listen to, whether it's old punk rock from the late 70s, early 80s
Yeah.
to the bands like Motorhead. I've never
Mhm.
stopped listening to Motorhead my whole life. I still love Iron Maiden. I still love Paul McCartney and Wings. I love everything. I just listen to just about everything. Some days I'll be in a new wave kick. I mean, that's the beauty. I can listen to whatever I want.
Yeah. Well, I think the music, now we have this world of the internet, and for musicians, it's like, yay, because we can have a little bit more independence, right? But then there's like the sea of it. But at the same time, like the radio shows, like actual radio, it sucks. We drive and we try to go, okay, let's hear something. And it's the same set. Like you can cross a county line and they repeat the same set. And I'm
And
going,
it's killing radio, because if there's a band that I like and I say, to my phone, or go to Spotify or something like that, and I put in a band that I like, that radio station is going to play all these bands of the type of music I like.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to and if it's something I like, I just skip through it. So that's killing radio. I think the way radio is going to make it is by having more of the personalities on, and even a little bit less music. Because if I want to hear a song from any band in the world, all I have to do is pick up my phone.
Right. But then people have a hard time, like you have to ease people into listening to something new. It's so weird. And then they get into listening to the same tracks over and over again. It's like, to me, I always did the B-side first. It's like I get excited about new music. It's everything to me. But I see that hard thing of getting people, you have to coax them into the new sounds if they don't know the
Yeah, I
band.
mean, I'm like you. If you think of some of the biggest bands in the world, those songs that were their biggest hits are the songs that I don't want to hear. I don't like their hits. Like you look at any big rock band, and some of
The
my
greatest hit
favorite
albums.
aren't the hits, aren't the
Yeah.
hits. The songs that meant something to me, or kind of a little bit under the radar. If I said I love Guns N' Roses, I'm not going to play Welcome to the Jungle or Sweet Child of Mine.
No, no, it's a little bit overdone. Now, weren't you in one of their movies, their music videos?
I was in the November Rain video for like 2 seconds, but I was still in the video and it got over 1 billion views. And I think it's been the most watched music video of all time, which means that I can say, even though I was only in it for 1 second, I can wait, maybe 2 seconds, but I can still say that I had a part. And people tell me like, oh yeah, I saw you in the November Rain video. Tell us, what was that like? And I talked about that stuff as well.
Well, it seems that you're very open into, hey, well, if I could do this, why not do it? Is that kind of who you are in life?
Absolutely, I do it. I mean, everybody said that you're going to go on tour and just tell stories. I'm like, yeah, I really am.
Cool.
And people were very like curious. I mean, we have a show April 4th in Pittsburgh, and I've never even been to Pittsburgh, and it's almost sold out. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Like I've never been to Pittsburgh, and we're selling tons of tickets. So it's really neat. I'm looking at the dates that start March 29th all the way to May 20th. And it's like,
Yeah.
to go to Knoxville or to go to, New Bedford or all these, it's just really cool. And I'm really excited. The Asheville show is fun because we're going to stay at your friend's place.
Oh, the Line of Rose, you're going to love it.
Oh, I can't wait. And I have a lot of my friends going. So we're going to go really, really early and hang out with them, and maybe have like a little campfire outside and just like Asheville is going to be a show that we're really looking forward to, because the tour, I would have been home for 2 days. We go to Asheville, and then the next day it's Knoxville, Nashville, Atlanta, but Asheville's and then the tour is done for a while until
Australia.
And so the Asheville show, May 17th at the Great Eagle is one that I'm really looking forward to as well, because that's going to be fun. And I live in I'm from Hollywood. I live in I've been in North Carolina now for about 6 years, and I just love it here.
Did so many musicians come from there too, right? I think there's something.
No.
There's tons, like, okay, Warren Haynes comes from Asheville.
Who else? Oh, from Asheville.
Yeah, Asheville. But I mean, North Carolina has some interesting musical roots. Like,
I don't know very many.
Yeah, they're there, and they didn't necessarily stay there forever, but there are some. But then again, if you want some banjo music and stuff, you can get that there, but that's a little
There you
different.
go. I don't know the last time I woke up saying I really would like to hear some local banjo music, but it's good to know that when I feel like some banjo music, I can find it. And
Joan Armatrading, I think, comes from Nashville.
I didn't know
Black
she's
Mountain.
from Nashville. I like Black Mountain. I like I own a coffee company called Cathouse Coffee, but there's a coffee place in Black Mountain that I really like called the Percolator, I think it's called.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah.
Yeah, there's good coffee up there. I like Asheville a lot.
Before you go, I want to ask you about when you opened the Cat House, you had a DJ there and then eased into actual performances. What was it that you were kind of like going keep the DJ versus the live shows? What was that balance for you?
I only wanted it to be DJs. I wanted it to be my DJ Joseph Brooks, and that's all I wanted. I didn't want to be a live venue, because what happens is when you're a live venue, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, who's playing at the Cat House? Oh, it's Guns N' Roses. Oh, great. What about next week? Okay, I'm not going to go next week. If it's a DJ, you know you're going to show up every week. And the truth is, we had a DJ every single night, and it would be DJ, and then the band would play for a while. But what started the whole live band thing was Axl saying, can we play a show at the Cat House? And Guns N' Roses wanted to do their record release party there. So when Guns N' Roses wants to do their record release party at your dance club, you say, okay, Axl, and that's why. And then it's like Alice in Chains wants to play there, and Alice Cooper wants to play there, and everybody wanted to play the Cat House because we were a rock and roll dance club that let bands play.
So what, and then obviously the whiskey's always been famous, right?
For the whiskey, Roxy, the Troubadour.
Yeah, but yours was a little heavier for people, right?
It was just Tuesday nights, and you could go to the Cat House no matter what was going on. I mean, the Cat House was it was just a place you'd go. I mean, pick up anybody's book, whether it be Slash or Steven Tyler or anybody, and the Cat House is in all those books. And now I'm telling the stories because I was there, and I'm just saying what really happened there.
Yeah, some friends of ours, they had a glam punk rock band, and were openly gay, glam punk rock band, and they were in the Hey Taxi and Red Wedding. And they had some crazy times in LA. I don't know if they played the Cat House. I'm gonna have to ask them.
They didn't.
I don't think so.
I know every band that played the Cat House. So
yeah, of course you did. Yeah, I don't know if they went there either. I don't know, but some of the stories they have to tell are some. I don't think people know that side of LA a little bit. I know LA's got wild stories, but I don't know if people know that side of like the harder rock kind of thing for LA.
You don't want to keep on saying that cliche about sex, drugs, rock and roll, but the Cat House was sex, drugs, rock and roll. That really is what it was. Yeah. So that is, it sounds like a cliche, but that's really the lifestyle we lived. And it was a dangerous lifestyle, but it was, that was how we all got by, and nobody had money then. And it was fun.
Yeah. Well, I think that's also the thing too. When you have too much, you forget to have fun and get down.
Exactly.
You understand it. Well, I want to make sure everybody has your website so they can get tickets. Go to Cathouse-Hollywood.com. And also, if you're going to go to Asheville, go to lion-rose.com for the Lion and the Rose, Steve and Karen. Go meet Mr. and Mrs. Wild. And I swear to God, they go everywhere. It's crazy.
They're going to be at my show. I got them all hooked up.
Right on. Good. Because they really, it's like, they actually they saw Steve Blaze. We're interviewing Steve Blaze, and next thing I know, we're in-sitting for them. And I found out we were in-sitting for them. We didn't know what, they didn't know what I was doing. They, all of that. And I'm like, where are you going this time? Oh, we're going to go see Steve Blaze. I'm like, you're having us in-sit while you go see Steve Blaze, who was just on our show promoting the concert that you're going to be at. Like, what the hell is that? They're like, so they're really cool. You're going to have a good time. But
I'm looking forward to it.
And Asheville's awesome. So everyone, Cathouse-Hollywood.com, and keep up with us at bigblendradio.com. Thanks so much, Riki. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And don't behave.
Never. Thank you.